Guys, it's Stack That Gold. Thought I'd do a live stream tonight. I'm off tomorrow. Thought just wanted to chill tonight, hang out, see how everyone is doing. Just waiting for some people to come in the room. What's going on, Transient? Good to see you. Welcome in. What's going on, Avocado? Good to see you, brother. How's everyone doing tonight? Where are you at tonight, Transient? Where in the world is Transient Stacker? Tired of laughing? I don't know. You're getting old. Yeah, aren't we all? California, dude, like totally gnarly. Let's get some like bitchin' waves. Go to like Redondo Beach. There's some like bitchin' waves there. Good day, reef surfing. How are you doing? Yes, I know you reef surfing. How have you been? Button Willow, California. Janice, good to see you. How are you doing? I'm doing great. That's good to hear, Reef. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm doing okay. I can't complain. I got tomorrow off from work, so thought I'd go live. Just chilling tonight. Just released a video a little while ago, so yeah. Been buying some gold. So just picked this up the other day. 1943 Centenario. Been wanting this coin for a really long time. Whoa. But yeah, I finally got it. Very fortunate to have gotten it. Beautiful condition, amazing condition. Look at that luster on there. Has to be, I'm guesstimating about a 64, 65. That beautiful cartwheel effect, man. Woo, that is sexy. Hey, what's going on, Joseph? Congratulations on winning LBS's, and I guess Cartier was giving it away. Congratulations on the win, brother. Thank you, Janice. Metals have been doing great. Depends on how you look at it. Metals have been going up, yes. The value of the dollar has been going down. So I don't know what to say. Hey, Seven. Good day, mate. Got another Aussie in the room. How are you doing? I don't follow politics, so I don't really know who that is, Joe. Gold's almost at 47. Damn, man. I know. It's crazy, right? Can you believe it? I literally purchased the $20 double eagle for like 4,300, and that was like 100 over spot. And now it's like 200 above spot. So it's like, it's crazy how much it's gone up in such a short amount of time. I just can't believe the price of gold and silver. It's getting crazy, guys. scaring a lot of people away from buying. People can't afford to buy anymore. It's pricing people out. Really sucks. That is true. That is true, transient, but it doesn't help either with the dollar. You know, the price of everything is up. Takes more money to buy it. It's not USD specific. It's globally things are getting are increasing. So I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it's crazy. I saw my man, the coin guy. He bought a ton more of silver, and he's talking about, are you still buying silver at $90? And it's like I see some of these rounds that he purchased at probably more than $90, and I'm saying to myself, I saw some of these about a year ago for like $30, 35 bucks. How I can't justify spending $90 on something that I could have gotten a year ago for 30 or 35. I can't bring myself to doing it. Hey, what's going on, 210? Good to see you. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else is facing that problem, not just from, not being able to afford it, but just looking at how much silver has gone up in the past year. I just can't bring myself to buying silver at this time right now, unless it's vintage and it's something that I've really wanted for a while now. I have been buying some silver, but very, very little silver. So it is what it is. So I am selling some of my ASEs at 85 and feel so weird about the price. Yeah, I'm telling you, I also feel weird. I went to Boeing Exchanges the other day. I just did in my video. I was able to get about that as well. And I purchased the silver at $36. And this was just last year. This is less than a year ago for one of them. Both 2 ounces I paid 72. And it's like I'm getting what, $170 now for both of them. So I made almost $100 profit in less than a year. It's crazy, just on 2 ounces of silver. I'm buying Wednesday, maybe not as much as last month. Yeah, I bought 3 ounces Friday. I would normally buy 10. I'm still spending my budget, just not getting as many ounces. And that's the thing. Like when I first started stacking gold, especially, I remember when gold was 1,750, $1,800 an ounce, and now it's like almost 4,700 an ounce USD, and it's crazy. I'm still trying to stack as much as I have been like the past couple years. I'm trying to increase it, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that because I'm converting my silver to gold. That's pretty much the only reason I was able to get so much last year. Otherwise, there's no way I'd be able to get as much as I did. But yeah, I pretty much sold all my generic silver that I want to sell. I still have some pieces that, I want in my collection, and the rest of it is just all gone already. I had tubes of ASEs, maples, kangaroos. I still got a tube of Libertads, which I'm not gonna sell. That's the only tube I'm keeping. But yeah, everything else is gone already. I bought $100 worth of gold the other day. So what is that, like half a gram? 1 ounce bar, which is what'd you pay, like 95, or close to 100, and a silver dime. How much is a silver dime these days? Like 12, $15. It's crazy. It's getting crazy, these prices. I just can't. It's just it's just mind-boggling to me, honestly. What happened was, like about a month ago, I purchased 4 ounces of vintage silver. I haven't showed it yet, and the price was $90, and I'm like, oh man, it's too high. Like it dropped like $10 like a day or two later. So I was kind of pissed. I'm like, damn, I could have gotten it for $10 cheaper. But now silver is like what, 93 something an ounce, and I'm like, damn. I mean, I I didn't know 100% if it was gonna go up, but I was like, what the hell? It's probably gonna go up in the long run anyway. So, and it's vintage, so I'm like, let me get it. Let's see. So it seems like most people are still buying, but not as much as they had been in the past, which is understandable given the current prices. My January gold is three, I guess gold you meant, three 1/10 ounce Britannias and a half-ounce Eagle. That's great, Bob. That's awesome. If you could do that, I mean, you're really ahead of most people. That's awesome. I love the Britannias. I was starting like a mini date run. I have like from 2020 to 2023, 2024 maybe. So I was going for like a mini date run. But last year, I mean, the price just went up so much that I really haven't been buying as much of what I want, as opposed to what I can get close to spot or under spot. So that's been my goal. And the two coins that I just showed in my recent video, I mean, I couldn't pass up. I thought they were a great deal. And the second one I've wanted now for a long time, for years, so I couldn't pass that opportunity up when it presented itself. I would have regretted it for sure. A silver 1964 quarter, and I sold it for $23. Wow. That is crazy. I mean, I literally sold someone Mercury dimes last year for 21 times face, and now they're selling like for like what, 60 times face at least. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Hey, what's going on, IBG? Good to see you. Welcome in. Yup. I have tomorrow off, so thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I saw your comment. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate that. Yup. I really wanted this for a really long time, for a few years now. And the sad part is I had the opportunity to buy this at $2,500 a few years ago, and I passed on it. But the good thing is this is in amazing condition. I mean, it has some scratches on the top, not too bad. But look at the luster on that coin. It's just amazing. Just a beautiful coin. I seriously think it's at least a 64, 65 grade. It just has amazing luster on it. It's just really beautiful. Nice. Hey, what's going on, Joe Johnson? I sold an apartment last March and put all 250 profit into gold. Real estate taking a back seat now. Yeah, definitely. You made the right moves at the right time, Joe. That was really great that you did that, because I know in March it had been going up a little bit, but it went crazy in like the middle of the year last year. Gold it went really crazy. So that is awesome. Congratulations on that. You made an amazing profit on that. I'm sure it was better than pretty much everything except silver. Probably the best place you could put your money in is either gold or silver last year. Platinum did quite well too. Silver was the big winner last year. Thank you, Janice. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's the lowest mintage. It was 89,000 mintage that year, so that was one reason I wanted it. There's also another personal reason I wanted that coin. So I'm really just happy I got that. 'cause it's not an easy year to get. And honestly, if I get it graded and it comes back a 65, it's worth significantly more than I paid. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but just knowing that fact alone, I mean, it's just amazing. There's definitely there's definitely if you know what to look for, guys, there's definitely money to be made. Just like I bought that $5 Liberty. I don't really normally like the $5 Liberties, but at the time I thought it was not such a bad price and the condition was amazing. I thought maybe I'd get a 64, but it actually turned out to be a 65. So it was just great. No, 1943. That's the lowest mintage year, 89,000. So yeah. Hey, what's going on, OC? Good to see you, brother. Welcome in. Yeah. Yeah, I think they made it in 46. I'm not 100% sure. They made about a dozen different years from 1921 up until 1947. And the thing is, I don't know how to usually tell a restrike from an original. It's there got to be a way to tell. I don't know. Most of them are restrikes from 1947 because they make them up until this day. Even they make 1947 restrikes. There's kind of ones from I think it was done in I want to say 2006. There was like a matte finish one, so that one looks really different. But aside from that, I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure how you could tell the difference if it's an original or a restrike. But yeah, what's different about the 43 is if you compare the two. Look, see, it says 50 pesos here, and it doesn't say that because in 1943 the gold in here was worth more than 50 pesos, so they didn't they didn't want to put it on there anymore. I guess maybe there was some type of inflation that year. I don't know the whole story behind that, but that's the reason why they didn't market 50 pesos that year, because it was actually worth more than 50 pesos. So yeah, little history. In Ireland, you have to pay yeah, VAT on silver coins bars, but no added tax on gold coins bars. So if you buy silver here, you're down 23% immediately. Love the channel, by the way. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Joe Johnson. Yeah, I talked to 365 Days of Silver. He's in the UK, and he was telling me it's kind of the same thing there as well, where there's basically I know there's no tax on buying gold, but when it comes to silver, he said there's like a 20% tax, VAT, value added tax. So you got to be you got to be quite wealthy in the UK to be a silver stacker, I guess. That really sucks. All right, avocado, take care. Have a good night. But yeah, I mean, in the US, it kind of varies by state. There are 38 states in the US that do not have a tax on any type of bullion. So it doesn't matter if you buy $1 or $1 million, you don't pay any tax on it when you buy it. In 12 states in the US, including unfortunately the one I'm in, there is a tax, but it depends. Like in New York, where I am, for example, if it's $1,000 or under, there is a tax on any type of bullion. Not all bullion dealers charge that tax. So it's not like a lot of the major bullion dealers will charge it, but some of the smaller ones kind of skirt the rules. And it varies by state. I think in California it used to be 1,500 and they just raised it to 2,000. So that's probably the worst offender. States like Florida, I think it might be like $500. I'm not 100% sure. So it really varies by state for those 12 states. But yeah, for most of the US, there is no tax on bullion, which there shouldn't be because it's real money. I don't think you should you should be able to tax money, you know. So it is what it is. No sales tax on bullion in Michigan, but state capital gains on resale. Okay, good to know. Really good to know. Um, and that brings up another point. In the US, we have pre 1933 gold, and when you purchase it, you probably should record the price you pay. Sometimes, for some reason, I've had dealers charge tax on the pre 33 gold. And usually when you do sell it, it's basically treated as an investment pre 33 gold. So you kind of have to record the price you buy it and you sell it for. So you do have to pay a capital gain or capital loss tax on it in the US, unfortunately, on pre 33 gold. Good to know. Good to know, 210. You mean STG, not SGT. I'm STG, not SGT. No, I don't want that job. No, thank you. No, no. I don't like politics. I can't stand politics. I avoid it at all costs. 210. I thought you were in Texas. You're in Virginia? None in Oregon, but they began taxing in Washington state. Yeah, they have a tax on bullion now in Washington, which is crazy. So then maybe now there's not 38, there's 37 states that have no tax. No, don't call me that, please. I don't want to be confused with him. Oh, nice. Why do I always think you're in Texas for some reason? I don't know why. get, I get I get you confused. I'm sorry. Yeah, Virginia's beautiful. I have family down there, down in Manassas. I've been down to Virginia. I like it down there. That just almost kills it for silver. Hard to believe it still beat out gold. Hey, what's going on, Great Scott? Good to see you. Welcome in. Historically, when the price of precious metals goes up dramatically, usually gold goes up first, and then silver kind of, it goes up, and silver usually outperforms gold. So I'm really not surprised that silver outperformed gold last year. It has historically done that. So yeah, it wasn't any surprise to me, actually. I'm just surprised by how rapidly it went up and by how much, you know, tripling, going up more than 300%. That's quite a increase in 1 year. Well, I don't know about that, but it has dramatically decreased. The paper market, is basically dying out right now. So I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see silver free floating. So for the most part. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I personally don't think silver is gonna go much higher. You know, I think it's really bad for the global economy if silver does go very high because that means things are not good in general. If people are putting their money into precious metals, that means they have no faith in other assets, and that's not a good sign, honestly. So Well, I do hope precious metals in the long term do go up overall. In the short term, I really hope they don't go up that much. But um, I don't know. You see what happened in 1987 and 2008. It's not a good situation to be in. So I'm really getting worried for the economy in the U.S. and around the world. It just looks like something is going to happen, and it's not going to be good. I hope not, Scott. I really hope it doesn't reach $300 an ounce, because it's going to be a very bad economic situation globally if it does hit that price. It's going to mean hyperinflation. It's going to be like the Weimar Republic of Germany, where those inflationary notes came out. They had, all those, they were basically used for toilet paper to burn people's ovens, to keep them warm at night. That's the government's going to keep pumping money, and it's going to decrease the value of the dollar, and people are not going to have any faith in the dollar anymore. They're going to put their money in precious metals, and it's going to be very bad for the economy. If silver goes that high, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be very bad. So I honestly hope it doesn't go up to 300 an ounce within the short term. In the long term, yes, eventually, but not by the end of this year. I really hope it doesn't go up that much. I think the global game board is just changing into a new configuration. And that's what people were saying. There's going to be a global reset for currency, which I could see happening. If you look at the times in over history, you look at the Roman Empire, and you look at the coins that they used to have. What is it, the denarius? And you saw that it used to be a very pure form of silver, and gradually over time they put less and less silver in their coins until there was no silver at all. So you think this is new with 90% silver, and then they switch to 40%, and then they switch to nickel and copper. No, this is not something new. History is basically repeating itself. It happens to all great empires throughout history, that the value of their money eventually becomes worthless. And the US has been long overdue for that to happen to its currency. They've been propping it up. They created the Federal Reserve to manipulate the value of money, and to try to pull all sorts of tricks and games to prop up the US dollar. But they're basically out of options at this point. The best they can do is keep printing more money. So, and that's not working anymore. So, we're in a very dangerous situation, not just in the US, but globally. Yeah, my Krugerrand, I mean, I still have it. I just wanted to show the two centenarios, and I like this coin here. I like the design on it, so I decided to change it up a little bit. That wouldn't surprise me, Grace Scott. There's a lot of countries trying to use precious metals to back their currencies. I know BRIC is trying to be a gold-backed currency. So Russia and China have been buying tons of gold, and India has been buying tons of silver. So it wouldn't surprise me if BRICS comes out with a currency that is backed by precious metals. It would not surprise me at all. Goldman Sachs had predicted 4,900 by the end of 2026. Yeah, I saw they predict. I saw that article. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be higher than that, Joe. It's a very it's a bit concerning to me personally. I studied economics in college. I have a degree in economics and in finance. I have two degrees. So when I see prices going up so rapidly in such a short amount of time, it's not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. Yeah, silver is going to be used for many different applications. Not solar panels, electric vehicles. There's already computers. Lot of different applications. Whereas opposed to gold is more. It has applications in electronics, but it's mostly for jewelry. That's the main application of gold. The thing is, people want something that has value, and gold is a great source of value that people recognize globally. You know, you can go anywhere in the world and sell gold. You could sell a gold, you could sell a gold Rolex. You know, people will know, the value of it because of the gold content, obviously. And well, Rolex is a well-known brand. But aside from that, people know gold around the world. So it's something that's I think is more stable right now than silver. I think silver is very risky place to put your money in right now. I'm not saying not to buy silver, but I'm saying it's a lot more risky than gold is right now, even though gold is also going up quite a bit, quite significantly. So I'll be 70 in March, so I have to draw down retirement accounts to spread the taxes due out. Gold is a place to hold the proceeds of that. Yeah, you could get a you could get an IRA and invest in gold, a gold IRA. I know people who do that. Basically, they buy the gold, and I get a check from they've personally bought from me. They give me a check from their gold IRA, and that goes into I basically mail it to where they store it. They're not allowed to touch it. They're not allowed to, I send them pictures, but they're not allowed to touch that gold until they retire and they start withdrawing the gold. So I don't know exactly how it works. I know you're not allowed to touch it. You're not allowed to hold it. You gotta keep it, off site from where you live. So I know someone who actually does that. They have gold as part of their IRA. They have a gold IRA account. Um, but yeah, you basically have to do. You have to once you reach what is this 69 and a half, I want to say. You have to start withdrawing from your IRA a certain amount every year up until you're 79 and a half, I think. I think you have to be that age till you have till you have to withdraw all of it. I could be wrong. I I don't really work in directly with finance, so I could be wrong with those numbers. 59 and a half, or I think it's 59 and a half. Yeah, you have to start. Yeah. Okay. No, those aren't libertads. Those are centenarios or 50 pesos. So it's a different coin. Yeah, I just got that. All right, Reef Surfing, take care. Thank you for stopping by. Have a great day. Slab 333 is a goodbye last time I checked. Yeah, and that's the thing. 90% of anything right now seems to be a very good buy. If you go, if you buy 90% silver, 90% gold, um, I think 90% gold right now is probably has the lowest premium over spot it's ever had. So I think right now is a great time to buy it. I might actually do another video on 90% gold or pre-33 gold because I think it's a great investment. I just did the video tonight. I purchased a pre-33 gold coin, and it's already appreciated $100 just within like 2.5 weeks since I purchased it. So it was a great opportunity. Silver can go up times 3 as much as gold on up days, but falls times 3 as much as gold on down days. Silver is too volatile, and the gold to silver ratio has surely peaked. Joe, I'm in complete agreement with you. I completely agree. I don't think it's going to go much lower. If you look at the past month or two, it really hasn't changed much. It's gone maybe from 58 down to about 50 now. So it really hasn't changed that dramatically over the past couple months. Silver is very volatile. It could seriously go either way at any point in time. A lot of people are thinking it's going to go higher. I personally think it will go a little higher, but um, I can't see it going much higher than 125 USD an ounce. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, honestly. It's anyone's best guess at this point. Yes, you have to take a disbursement every year. I am waiting for mine for this year as we speak, going towards this week's big purchase. Nice. Angel of Independence in Mexico City. Yes. Yamhir Garcia. Thank you. Yes, yes. Angel of Independence. There is a statue of this in Mexico City. Beautiful. Thank you for giving the history. Trying to read everyone's comments. They changed the start of requirement minimum distribution to 73. Okay, you must take so much out each year. Okay, good to know. I just got back 15, 2.5, and 5. Liberty Head, pre-33 all came back MS. Wow, congratulations. That is awesome, Ben. Really nice. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through these. Got the 2.5 for 300, and I can't remember what I got the $5 for a couple years. Did very well. Yeah, and I did a video recently of I think it was a 19, I don't remember what year, somewhere in 1905-ish, $5 Liberty that I purchased beginning of last year for about, I think it was $780. And that coin graded a 65, and the last comparable one in December of last year sold for 2,550. So I did very well on pre-33 gold. You can do really well on pre-33 gold. I think that's my most viewed video. If you filtered by most watched video, I did about a 45-minute video on pre-33 gold. I really love pre-33 gold. I think it's actually given me probably the highest return of any type of gold coin that I've bought. So I every year I buy a lot of raw pre-33 gold. Unfortunately, I purchased a $5 Indian this year. Last year that was counterfeit. Luckily, it had 90% gold in it, and I got my money back from the dealer because he was a very reputable person I do a lot of business with. So yeah, you got to watch out. You got to really know what you're doing. Sometimes it even fools the experts. You throw it on the Sigma, and it basically tested as 90%. So it was real gold, but the coin itself was not real. So you got to watch out when you buy pre-33. Every delivery month will be a big jump in price. We'll see what happens. What's silver going to close at tomorrow? Well, the market is closed in the US for the holiday, so I don't know. What's up with the 49ers? I don't follow football. I use metals to back up cash savings. So liquidity is seizing up already. Could become buy-only products down the road. We'll see what happens. Anyone's best guess. I have a knack for getting good deals on gold, right place at the right time. That is awesome, Ben Sherman. That is great. I sometimes get some good deals on pre-33 myself because my dealer is in Chinatown, and he basically buys his pre-33 from usually jewelry shops. He basically gets he tells me they basically pay a little bit under melt to the people that sell them, and they sell it to him for a little bit over melt. So, I've built a relationship with him over a number of years, and he's able to give me some really great deals on pre 33 gold. So I'm very fortunate to have that. Even if I buy them and I get them graded, I'm sure I could easily make 10% most of the time, depending on what it is, maybe around 10% profit right off the top if I were to sell them. But I very rarely sell my pre 33 gold coins anymore. But yeah, slab pre 33 gold. I would highly recommend, if you really don't know too much about pre 33, I'd highly recommend buying it slabbed, especially with some rarer dates, because a lot of times they're often faked. They There's all sorts of fakes out there. The counterfeit $5 Indian that I recently purchased, my dealer seems to think that the D mint mark was added after the fact, because adding the D is a much lower mintage than without the D mint mark on it. It was well, I think it was a 1907 $5 Indian. So with the D, it's a lot lower mintage and it becomes worth a lot more. So there's all sorts of ways they counterfeit pre 33 gold. They actually sometimes take old pre 33 gold coins that are in really rough shape. They will melt them down and they will use that exact same gold to recast the same coin in a rare year. So I've had a case where I think that's what they did with a $3 gold piece. So any type of rare pre 33 gold coin, $3, $4 gold piece, I highly suggest and recommend you get it graded already, because those coins are heavily faked. What's your take on goldbacks? Feels like a predatory con job to me. Um, well, I personally, I don't really. I mean, I have a few goldbacks. I bought them when they first came out. I bought 100 of them and I gave away 99 to the community. And honestly, I don't know what to make. I think honestly, for people who can't afford a lot of gold, I think it's a great way of getting some type of gold. I know there are a lot of people out there who can't afford gold, and I really like the gold backs because, first of all, they have beautiful artwork on them, and secondly, I think it's a great way for people who don't have a lot of money to get some type of gold, because they have appreciated in value. When I first started buying the gold backs, I think I was paying less than 450 a gold back, and I think, what are they going for now? Like $15 a gold back. So for like a one gold back. So I don't know if it's necessarily a scam. I don't think it's necessarily a scam because you are getting actual gold. It's just not in the typical form that you would normally associate gold in. And they do have quite a high premium on them, but it basically follows the rules of most gold coins you buy. Usually, the smaller the denomination, the higher the premium you pay. So, since it's such a 1/1000th of an ounce of gold, for a one gold back, you're paying an extremely high premium, yes, but at the same time, it's something that is affordable for most people. So it has its pluses and minuses. And if the price of gold does go up, it does appreciate in value. Will you get your money back if you try to sell it? I don't know. It depends. But I honestly think I personally wouldn't put my money into gold backs. I don't think it's a great way of um, investing your money or putting your money into gold. I think it's probably one of the worst ways to buy gold because you're paying such an exorbitant premium on gold for it. So from a standpoint of an investment or a long-term stack, I don't think it's the way to do it. It's definitely not the way, because you're going to pay a lot more um, for the gold up front, and you're probably not going to get your money back in the long run. So From that perspective, I don't think it's a good place to put your money. For buying them from for an art for a piece of artwork, and you know, if you really can't afford anything else, then go for it. 1/4 gold eagle is my sweet spot now. Yeah, I really like the 1/4 size American gold eagles as well. I try to pick them up whenever I can. Allocated gold. Are you in the US? Great Scott. I didn't know they had unallocated and allocated gold in the US. Those usually in Australia, I know they have that. I didn't know they had that in the US. Hey, Methydicus, what's going on, brother? Yeah, I gave away 99 gold backs. I basically I purchased them for less than 450 per gold back then. So yeah, if you look at people's channels who are still making content from a few years ago, yeah, you could look for their videos. I gave away 99 gold backs. I kept one of them. I'm just afraid it's going to be so expensive at some point. Shops and dealers can't buy it. The silver market has froze up, and shops and dealers here lately, a lot going on. And I kind of feel the same way because if you go into a coin shop, at least here in the US, you notice a lot of the dealers are elderly. They're a lot of them are senior citizens. So yeah, it's kind of scary to think that pretty soon these dealers might actually eventually all go out of business. The price of precious metals is going to be so high where it's going to be out of reach to the majority of people around the world, even. And there's not going to be that many people buying precious metals anymore. It's a really likely scenario that's going to happen, that will happen in our lifetime. So yeah, there's no question about it. I know a lot of people are trying. That's why they're trying to get fractional right now, because if they get something like this in another few years, they're afraid if it's going to be over $10,000. So, guys, the $10,000 limit is for cash only. So, if you're selling this, usually you go to a bullion dealer, they're not going to have over $10,000 in cash. They're going to pay you in a check, right? So, as long as you're not paying in cash, or you're not paying in cash, you don't have to report it to the government. People often confuse that. There's a form. I think it's form 8800 that the bullion dealer has to fill out if you basically pay in cash, whether you're buying or selling. They have to fill that out, and then that gets reported to the IRS. But they're just reporting it to the IRS. It doesn't mean that there's anything bad. So most bullion dealers today, for that amount of money, they're not going to pay you cash anyway, right? So I don't think there's anything to worry about in that regard. But some people, they don't understand how reporting requirements work for banking, and I work in banking, so I deal with this. I know how it works. So yeah, I'm telling you right now, you really don't have anything to worry about in the future as far as the $10,000 limit. Okay, I don't know what that means, but you're gonna be hidden. Imagine the size of bankroll needed to open a new shop, even a small shop. And that's the thing. That's why you don't see a lot of younger bullion dealers today. I mean, there are some out there, definitely there are, but it's basically an old man's game at this point. It's kind of sad to see. It costs a lot of money, a lot of capital. Hey, what's going on, Brad V? Good to see you. Welcome in. But yeah, it's crazy the amount of capital needed to start a bullion coin shop today. It can't be cheap, and a lot of these dealers are working on very small margins. That's basically the game of being a bullion dealer. You have to do a lot of turnover in a short amount of time to make any money, or you're not gonna be in business for long. A lot of these dealers are not making much profit on what they sell, even with these increases in price of silver, yes, initially maybe they had some inventory they've had for a while, but once they go through that inventory and they order more inventory, that they're paying, just under melt for a lot of these items now, and the margins on these are so slim right now because the price is fluctuating so much for silver. A lot of times these sellers, between what you're paying and the spread that you're buying it from, it's very, very thin margins right now. So there's really not much profit to be made as a bullion dealer. That's why Tim, Yankee Stacking, Tim is saying, when silver hits $100 an ounce, he's going to retire, and he very well might do that because the margins are going to be razor thin. It's not going to make any sense for him to stay in business much longer, especially with silver being so volatile. You don't know how much it's going to go up or down in a given day. Some days it goes up or down 10%, and if gold were to go up or down 10% in one day, that would be like over $450 an ounce in one day. And I haven't seen those type of movements in a while. It's very volatile silver right now, so it's a very risky business to be in, being a precious metals dealer. There's a lot of unknowns involved. It's very, very risky time to be a bullion dealer. So I can't see too many people opening up a bullion shop right now. I was going to go in with a very reputable dealer in my area. I don't know. I might. He is getting older, so I don't know. We will see. Let me know, Ben, if you go in. I would. Where are you located, Ben? If I might ask, you don't have to tell me if you don't feel comfortable. But I'm kind of curious because most of the local coin shops by me, I live in New York City, and most of them have gone out of business. So I'd say there's probably only maybe three coin shops, if you want to call it. Okay, you're in Ohio, so okay, cool. Yeah, I know there used to be Ohio Precious Metals in Ohio, and there were a lot of little private coin shops there, like in Xenia, Ohio. There used to be a coin shop. They made silver bars with their coin shop on it, Xenia Coin Shop. So yeah, there's a few dealers out in Ohio that I know of, but yeah, they're starting to dry up everywhere in the country, unfortunately. Maybe we'll only see shops live if the owner dies and wills it to a young protege. Yeah, and that's true. You see that with that guy in Washington. What's his name? Damn, I forgot. But he has a channel, and he has that guy working for him. And I think he's going to hand that business over to him eventually. So it's good if dealers do that, but a lot of them are just going out of business. A lot of younger people are not interested in coins these days. I think you saw a resurgence during the pandemic. I think that's kind of how I got into stacking. I started in March of 2020. I kind of knew from past history that the price of precious metals would go up dramatically based on what happened in 2008. So I purchased 200-ounce Scottsdale stackers for $18 an ounce, and I made some good money on those. I sold them last year. I should have waited a little bit, but yeah, I'm not sorry I sold them. Yeah, Harry's Coin Shop, exactly. That's who it is. Yeah, exactly. That's who I was thinking of. I've got two young people stacking. They actually doing very well. They make me proud. That's great. That's great. I it's kind of hard. I tell all my friends of, all different ages to buy gold and silver. I've been telling them for years now to buy, and none of them have done it. And my friend tells me my friend is retired now. He's in his late 60s. He's well off. He used to be a stockbroker on Wall Street back in the 80s, and he kind of got into the work that I did in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so he's pretty much retired, I guess, if semi-retired. If a project comes along his way, he would work. But I've been telling him for years to buy gold. He's like, oh, maybe I'll buy some ETS, maybe this, maybe that, and he never did. And now he's looking, seeing the price of silver and gold, and he's kind of kicking himself. I tell people who are smart, they're not stupid people. They just, for whatever reason, they just don't listen. I have one friend I told to buy gold, and he had the funds to buy it. He bought 10 gold eagles, guys, when gold was 20. He bought them for $2,900 each. He bought 10 gold eagles. I told him to buy gold, and he listened to me. And now he's sitting pretty, just that alone. And this is maybe 2 or 3 years ago tops. And he got a great return on his investment. Probably one of his best investments he made with his money. And this guy works in oil, so he's fairly wealthy. He's going to be retiring pretty soon, and he's in his early 40s. So, um, very, very very smart person. But anyways, it's their loss now. We're the ones who have the last laugh by putting our money in precious metals. you know you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's the old saying, right? Hey, what's going on, Blockos? Good to see you, brother. Welcome in. Hey, what's going on, Stuart? Good to see you. Exactly. Most people don't realize that this is real money. That's the sad thing. For years you had people saying not to buy this, right? This is not a good investment. You know. Meanwhile, those same people were hoarding this, and you got people like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. Um, you had even Prince. Actually, when he passed away, they found that he had a gold bar. He bought a couple gold bars. He bought. So Prince was a gold stacker. um. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize the true value of precious metals, and it's kind of sad, really. People are just starting to wake up now. They see the price going up, and you know they get in on it because the FOMO. Not they still don't even fully understand it. So it is what it is. Yeah, he is. He did very well. He's in Alaska. He works in the oil and gas industry. He's in a management level position. He's basically been doing it since he was out of college, so he's been doing it almost 20 years already. And yeah, he made a lot of investments in the stock market, and he's very well off. He's going to be retiring soon, and he's thinking about becoming a financial fun, like I guess someone to help people invest their money. I can't think right now. I'm kind of getting a little tired, but a financial advisor, I guess you could call it. And yeah, he's thinking about doing that because obviously he is very very savvy with investing. So yeah, he definitely, I think he'd be great at it. LCS should always be packing. Yeah, I guess they should be. I guess it's one security measure, one of many they should be taking. Yeah, I got to reach out to him. I haven't talked to him in a while. Kind of lost contact, but yeah, we talk a couple times every year. It's kind of hard when you get older to stay in contact with people. But that's great if you could get young people involved in stacking, start them off at an early age. I think that's key because I know a lot of people, like for me also, my dad used to show me, he used to collect like junk, mostly junk silver he had, and pennies and different American coins. And we didn't have a lot of money, and pretty much all of that stuff he got when he was a kid. He would just collect it as a kid, and he bought Whitman albums later on when he got older, and he started whenever he found something, I guess, in change or whatever, he'd add it to his collection. So it's good to try to get kids involved when they're young, and hopefully coin collecting will be will be around for a long time, even after we stop using physical currency. Excuse me, it's very dry in my room. I'm getting a lot of heat right now, so it's very dry. LCS has great customers here, nothing visible, no worries either. That's good. I'm 47, have no debt, home paid off. I was wanting to work max 2 years and open shop or go in with my local dealer. Have to see how prices are going to play out. That's great, Ben. If you're able to retire in a couple years and you have no debt, I mean, um, again, you gotta realize that having a coin shop, there's a lot of uncertainties. There's a lot of risk involved because prices could go up and prices could go down. You never know which way the market is going, and that's kind of why you have to move your inventory as quickly as you can to take advantage of any upside in the market. If the price goes up, one day you kind of have to take advantage of that and price your precious metals depending on the market. So it's a lot of strategy actually. It's almost like a game. If you have an LCS, you never really know what the price is going to be. It's very risky. There's a lot less riskier businesses. And I mean, if you want to do it, man, I'd say go for it. Well, more power to you to try to keep a local coin shop open up in this day and age. I give you a lot of credit if you actually do that, man. Let me know. I'll definitely plug your coin shop. I'd love to maybe possibly visit someday as well if you do decide to invest in it. Even when I was a kid, late 50s, early 60s, a silver dollar was a rare thing to see. Of course, we were po folks. I mean, my dad, he was born in the 40s, and he was a kid also in the 50s. So at that time, up until 1964, I mean, they used silver and change was everyday usage. They used silver dimes, they used silver quarters, half dollars, um, even war nickels were silver. So there's definitely a lot of silver in circulation in the 50s. And I was reading up until maybe the 1950s, there were, well, maybe after World War II, it started decreasing, but even up until that time, there were peace dollars in circulation. It wasn't uncommon to find a peace dollar from 20 years prior, the same way you would find, let's say, a Susan B. Anthony dollar coin from 40 years ago from 1979. You could still get them in circulation. They're not as common, but you could still get them in circulation. If you go to the bank. I got the funds, probably the inventory to do a shop. It's the building and location is the big thing for me. That's definitely one aspect. You got to take into account. So once you sell your inventory, you have to have a refiner who's going to sell you more inventory or buy more inventory from you. You're going to have people coming in buying and selling, but in this market, there's probably a lot more buyers than there are sellers right now. So you're going to be needing more silver. You have to build relationships with these refiners, and these bullion companies. So it's a lot involved. Probably building the physical location is probably, at first, it's, yeah, very stressful, but that's probably one of your at least the costs involved in doing that. You don't always know the cost involved with buying and selling precious metals. Killer Kitty is saying, "How do I sell my collection?" Well, it depends what you have to sell, and if you're talking about silver or gold coins, you might want to, or depending where you live, you might want to call up your local coin shop, and find out how much they're paying for certain coins, whether they're silver or gold, and you can compare the prices of how much each one is paying. And obviously, you could go to the one that pays the highest amount. You could also check online. You could go to bullionexchanges.com, and you could click on sell whatever it is, silver or gold, and they actually give you live prices of how much they're willing to pay. I know there are numerous bullion dealers that do that. I think JM Bullion is also another website you could check to see how much they're paying. So there's numerous online bullion dealers you could check. You could check any if you have a local coin shop near you to see how much they're paying. You could check forums online. You could go, there's PMs for sale on Reddit. So there's many places, if you have a collection, that you could, sell it to maximize your profit. You really have to do a lot of research and compare different options, but there's definitely different ways you could sell your collection based upon what it is. Exactly, exactly. Definitely got to do your research. I'm not advocating bank runs, but over the past year, I've been on a bank walk. Take a 401k distribution into gold, CD matures into gold, and that's a great way to put your money in. I personally I think there's definitely still a lot of upside potential for gold and silver to increase in the next year. Much past that, I don't know what's going to happen. It could decrease. You never really know. My parents in the late 90s, the big thing was, investing it in mutual funds, and the price of the stock market kept going up and up and up. And I said, this, even I was just a little, I was not I was a young kid then, and I said, what goes up must come down. I said, it looks like, I told their financial advisor, I said, it's going to crash. I told my parents, I said, don't invest in mutual funds, it's going to crash. And I was only about 12 or 13 years old, and I told my parents, I said, it's gonna crash. It's been going up and up and up. What goes up must come down. So I do think there's gonna be a pullback for precious metals for sure, but I don't think it's gonna be such a huge pullback. But I do think there eventually will be a pullback happening, maybe in another year or two. So that's just I'm not a financial advisor. Please don't take what I say as financial advice, but this is just my personal opinion. So let me put that disclaimer out there. um, but yeah, I personally think folks get gold and silver as much as one can afford. Exactly. And that's what I tell people, to buy it when you can, because it's only gonna go up in the long term. Over time, it does go up. If you're someone who has some time, if you're not of retirement age, if you're a bit younger and you're still intending on stacking for a good 10 to 20 years minimum, then precious metals is usually a long term play. I wouldn't recommend buying precious metals for the short term because the short term is too volatile. It could go up, it could go down. But overall, in the long run, if you look at the historic 100-year average of gold and silver prices, they've only gone up over time. So in the long run, precious metal prices do increase, but in the short term, it's a little less clear. There's definitely a run on silver right now, and that's what scares me because, like I said, what goes up must come down, and I think there will be a correction in the next couple years, but I could be wrong. It's very volatile. Hey, what's going on, Aka, mate? Good to see you, brother. Well, I think the market here is closed in the US. We have a holiday today on Monday, so yeah, I don't know. Precious metal prices are up in Asia, I guess, so it's going up. Nice, mate. Congratulations. Yeah, it's crazy. I have a spreadsheet where I keep an inventory of my precious metals, and the amount that it went up is just it's just astronomical. I just can't believe how much money I made last year. If I were to sell it today, you're not really making any money unless you actually sell it, because it could go up or down at any given time. So until you sell it, that's when the profits are realized. But I just did my video, my last video. I bought uh, what do you call it? A sovereign last year, almost a year to the day. I bought it for $640 and I sold it for $1,047. So I made almost a $400 profit on one coin in 1 year on less than a quarter of an ounce of gold. So yeah, it's just insane how much, money profit, how much precious metals have gone up in such a short amount of time. It's kind of scary for me personally. I think it's kind of scary. And that's the thing, Ben. I do think it's going to be unobtainable for a lot of people. It's already starting to be unobtainable silver for a lot of people. When it was $30 an ounce, it was a lot more affordable. Now it's three times the price compared to what it was last year this time. And that really is too much for a lot of people to purchase. Some people would only purchase an ounce a month or an ounce a week, and now maybe they have to purchase it every 2 months or every other week instead. So it's really getting harder for people to stack. And the only reason I was able to stack as much gold as I did last year was because I converted a lot of my silver into gold. And this year, I don't know what. That's why I'm trying to get my strategy for this year is to try to get gold at or below melt, and then whatever type of gold it is, and then take that gold and convert it to other gold that I really want, something like this. So I sold one of my sovereigns that I really didn't want, and I used it towards purchasing this coin. So that's kind of my strategy for this year. Well, still unrealized, I've gained over 25% on gold. I started buying last July. CDs can't touch that. Yeah, usually your CDs, or you got to wait a certain time to pull out your money. It really depends how old you are and how risk averse you are, what you want to put your money in. I'd say if you're at retirement age or older, precious metals might not be the best for you to put your money in because it is so volatile right now. Um, Obviously, put some of it in. I'm not saying not to put any of your money in, but precious metals are very volatile. So you might want to consider, the risk involved. Usually, the more something goes up, the riskier it is. I think precious metals are very risky to get into right now. If your intention is not to hold them long term, If you are a bit elderly, if you want to leave it to your kids, your grandkids, family, friends, what charity, whatever it may be, then yeah, maybe that is a great way to do it right now, to put your money into precious metals. It really depends on, what you want to do, what your strategy is for your money. I made 3 weeks worth of work before Smoko this morning. My boss cannot believe it. He said he should have acted when I started there a year ago when I was raving on about AG and AU. Yeah, that's what I was just saying before. I've told my friends the same thing, and only basically only one of them listened to me, and they bought 10 gold buffaloes back when gold was 2,900 an ounce, and now it's approaching $4,700 an ounce, and this was only maybe less than 3 years ago, so 2.5 years ago. So yeah, like I said, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. People don't understand the value of precious metals. Yes, I'm currently trying to figure out my next strategy as far as what way I need to go. That's good. I still have plenty in cash accounts. That's good. That's good. It's always good to have a little dry powder. Good to diversify your assets. You might want to put some of it in real estate, although the real estate market is looking like it's going to be going down in the near future. There's other places to put your money in, the stock market, different stocks, stuff that people are always going to need, that are more stable. They might not go up as much, but they will go up because people are going to need it. There's different stocks, and there's other ways to invest your money. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I have no debt and been living on a pension since age 55. Social Security kicks in this March, doubling my income. That's great, Bob. Congratulations. Yeah, that's basically, my friend started collecting Social Security, I think maybe a year or two ago already, and it really saved him a lot of money on insurance as well. He's getting Medicare now, so that's great. Monster boxes are almost 50K. I bought 3 boxes, little over 15,000. Blows my mind. That is crazy, Ben. That is amazing. Congratulations, brother. That is commendable that you were able to afford that. That is great. Yeah, I remember. I remember when this was $2,500 a few years ago. Someone was offering these for 2,500, and I paid around 5,800 for this a few days ago. So, um, yeah, not cheap at all. Not cheap at all. I think for this last year I paid, I think it was maybe 3,400. Now gold is what, almost 4,700. So yeah, 6 months time. Look how much it's gone up. I remember buying 20 pesos Mexican gold coins for around $915. Now they're selling for over $2,000 each. So it's just, and that's on gold. I mean, you could look this time last year for an ounce of silver. It was going for $30, 30, maybe 35 with a premium, and now most places are charging 95 to 100, maybe $100 for an ounce of silver now. It's insane. It's just insane. Hey, what's going on, El? Good to see you. Welcome in. Been out of sorts. What was the big surprise purchase? STG. Oh, this was it right here. If you watch my most recent video here, I ruined it for those who haven't seen it yet. But this was the big purchase right here. So you could watch that video to get more information. Gold is mesmerizing to look at. It sure is. I definitely have the gold bug in me. Thank you, cool man in motion. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, L. Yeah, I've been wanting the 1943 especially because it is the lowest mintage of the series, and I'm very fortunate because it's in such beautiful condition. It I think it would grade at least a 64 to a 65 if I had it graded. It's just in with that cartwheel effect on it. It's just beautiful. So very fortunate to have gotten this. Yeah. You see, I got two tortas right here. So yeah, I love the 50 pesos. I'm very fortunate and blessed to be able to afford them. So yeah, gonna have to hunt me down one of those. I don't have one. Yeah, if you go to bullionexchanges.com, they're based here. I'm in New York City, and they're based here. Sometimes, if you look at the gold at spot, they will actually have these at spot. So sometimes they do have these at spot. Usually the restrikes they're usually not much over spot in general. So yeah, I was able to get this at spot, this one. And again, I'm very fortunate. This is in BU condition. Just a beautiful coin. I love it. Love the 50 pesos. Definitely one of my top five favorite coin designs. Um, I forgot how much I paid for this one when it was spot, but somewhere around there, I want to say, for this one. I don't remember. I actually don't remember how much I paid. This one was 5,800 because it's more than an ounce of gold. You see, it's 37 and a half grams of gold. So um, yeah, it was roughly 5,800, which is probably right now, it's probably maybe 4% over spot. It's really not that much, maybe even a little bit less. Oh, that's a beautiful coin. Cool man in motion. I really want to get a reverse proof Libertad, 1 ounce reverse proof. That's one of my Grail coins that I have not gotten yet. I really want to get that this year. I've been saying that for a couple years already, but I know the mintages are very low on those every year. So I'm hoping to get one this year as well. I was finally, this one I had wanted for about over two and a half years already, maybe 3 years, and I finally got it a few days ago. And yeah, so that is, I think you made the right choice because honestly, they have a much lower mintage than the Centenarios. I think you made a great choice. Yeah, it's approximately 1.2 troy ounces of gold, and it's what, 37 millimeters in diameter. So yeah, it's especially the 2020. Oh wow, yeah, that is a super low mintage year. I think I have at least two of the 1/10 ounce gold Libertads from that year. The mintage was only 500. I think I have two or three of them from that year. But yeah, that's amazing that you got that reverse proof Libertad from 2020. Congratulations, brother. Very extremely low mintage. When do you think fiat will go digital? It's hard to say. I think there's still going to be physical cash in our lifetimes, but I think eventually it will go all digital. But um, mm, maybe in the next 100 years. It's hard to say. I don't think it's going to happen as soon as we think it is. We're still using checks today. So I don't think paper money is going to go anywhere in the near future. In the next 30, 40 years, I think it's still going to be around cash. Wow, 250 mintage. Yeah, I knew it was extremely low mintage. Normally, there's not more than 1,500 a year of the reverse proof 1 ounce Libertads minted every year. So I know they're very low mintage. That is amazing. Congratulations. That is, I would have done exactly the same thing as you. If it was between that and this low mintage uh Centenario, I definitely would have gotten the Libertad. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. You have multiple years. If you want to do a trade, no, it's okay. That's cool. Congratulations. That's awesome. Too many countries rely on a cash economy. Yeah, exactly. Well, at least in the U.S., I was talking about. I still, I still think there's a lot of. I still think it's going to be around for a while in the U.S. at least. Cash. A lot of cities like New York, especially, is still heavily cash based. I mean, since the pandemic, yes, a lot more people have switched over, but a lot of people in this country don't even have bank accounts. There are millions of people in this country that don't have a bank account, so they don't even have a debit card or a credit card, and they're dependent on cash to use cash. So I don't think it's gonna happen overnight, but I think eventually there will be a cashless society. I could definitely see that happening. I don't see it happening though in my lifetime. I tend to use cash as well. I like to use cash. Um I never had a credit card until last year. And the only reason I got a credit card is because my company gave me one. It's not cuz it's not cuz I wanted one. So I definitely tend to prefer cash. I'm kind of old school in that regard as well. Yes, I definitely collect and stack pre 33 gold. If you subscribe to my channel, if you want, you could see my latest video. I just purchased this, and I also purchased another pre 33 gold coin. And if you filter my videos, my most watched video is on how to buy pre 33 gold, what to look for when buying it. That's about a 45-minute video, but it basically explains what to look for when you purchase, if you're in the market for pre 33 gold. So, yes, that initially, when I started buying gold, pre 33 was probably the main type of gold that I purchased. And I still purchase pre 33 gold every year. I purchase pre 33 gold. I think it's probably given me the best probably the best return on my money out of any gold that I've bought. Aside from one Chinese gold panda I bought that I sold, I made quite a large profit on that. But pre 33 gold definitely is I love pre 33 gold. It's my favorite. It's my favorite gold. Aside from Mexican gold, pre 33 is definitely my favorite. Things change as you get older. I have accounts with 3 banks and a credit union. Credit unions are awesome. I really would love to open up an account at a credit union, but the thing is, there's some drawbacks to a credit union. I don't want to get into that, but yeah, that's great that you got a credit union account at a credit union. Would you buy $3 gold or Carson City gold? That's a tough decision. I do. I bought a three. I bought a Mint State $3 gold piece last year. I was very fortunate enough to get one in MS62. So I purchased that because it was available. Carson City gold piece. That would be amazing to have that. I wish I had one. They're very expensive. Highly faked. And if you do get one, I highly recommend you get one that's already graded. Um, but if it had to choose between the two, I personally would choose a $3 gold piece because I tend to like $3 gold piece. The history behind the $3 gold piece, it was actually created in the 1850s, because they were coming out with 1 cent stamps, no, 3 cent stamps, and they were in blocks of 100 stamps. So they wanted to create a coin that people can use to purchase the stamps. And that's basically why they created the $3 gold piece. So it would make it easier to purchase those 100 stamps for 3 cents a piece. So that's the history behind the $3 gold, the gold piece. But yeah, I love the $3 gold piece. Carson City made multiple denominations of gold pieces. They didn't make it past the, what was it, 18? Well, depending on what it was. I think by the 1870s they stopped making Carson City. They stopped making gold pieces, right? Somewhere around 1876, right? So yeah, it's definitely one that I want. I actually have a Dahlonega gold piece. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty rare as well. But I don't have any Carson City gold piece yet in my stack. You love the gold Philharmonics. I had well, I never had a gold for Philharmonic. They have extremely low premiums here in the US. Probably one of the lowest premium gold coins you could purchase. Do you have any Chinese gold? I had I had a Chinese gold coin. So I bought a 1/20th ounce gold panda from 1998 because that's a key year. It was the small date panda. I bought that coin for about $125 and I sold that coin for $1,500. So I currently do not have any Chinese gold, but if I can make money on it and sell it, I will buy Chinese gold. Nice. Yeah, there are certain key years that do command high premiums. So it's really good that even if you don't generally buy Chinese gold, it's good to keep in mind certain key years for gold pandas. 1998 is definitely a key year for gold pandas, the small date. During that time in China, there was a financial crisis, and a lot of those gold pandas were melted down. So and I think that year they didn't produce as many. So if you have they have two different dates. They have two different mints in China, and the small date, I forgot what mint it is, but you could look online to see the difference between the regular date, the large, and the small date coins, what the difference is. And yeah, that I just happened to see it online. A bullion dealer was it. They said it was 1998, and I guess they didn't realize that it was a key year. So I took advantage of that, and that was probably my best find ever for gold. Yeah, mine's definitely 100 legit. I got it years ago. Nice, nice. Yeah, you could do all sorts of tests. You could do a ping test, magnet test, slide test. I am fortunate. I do have a Sigma, so I tend to test my precious metals that I buy. But even the Sigma can be fooled because, again, I had a counterfeit gold coin. It was composed of 90% gold. It just wasn't a real $5 Indian. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff you hear about metals in China. It's very unfortunate that there's basically places that hold on to people's precious metals for them. And a lot of those, in the last couple years, a lot of them, they actually stole the people's precious metals and they ran away with them. And they had no recourse. They weren't backed by the government or anything like that. So yeah, there's a lot of fraud going on all over the world, not just in China, but there's definitely a lot of people taking advantage of honest people who are just trying to put some money away for savings or whatever it is, and they get swindled like that. But Yeah, selling fake gold, it is what it is. It happens every day, everywhere in the world. People try to sell other people fake precious metals. It's another thing you got to deal with if you open up an LCS. You got to be wary of that. Every single day, you're probably going to get people coming in with fakes. So you gotta take measures to protect yourself against that. Use some of the things that I mentioned. Use a magnet is definitely one of the first things you should take to silver. Shouldn't be magnetic. There's a slide. You could get a slide and make it for silver. You could use a ping test. There are certain apps you could get for free. You could download. There's XRF, which is very expensive. There's a Sigma, which is also expensive. So, there's all sorts of measures you could take to see if the precious metal is real or not. You got to be very careful, especially with prices being so high right now. You got to be very careful. There's a lot of scammers, especially on eBay. I would see a lot of in the last couple of years, a lot of vintage silver bars that were fake on eBay, and I could tell that they're fake because purchased I purchased them a while ago, and I've seen dozens of examples, and you look at it and you see the font is just not right, or it's stamped a certain way that's they they would never stamp it that way. Just certain little details on the bar that are very obvious if you've seen many examples of that bar before, that it's fake. So you got to be very careful, especially when you buy online. You can't If you see stuff significantly below spot price, chances are most likely it's fake. Don't buy it. You think it's a good deal, even if it's at spot. You really shouldn't take that chance unless the seller has really good feedback and they've done thousands of transactions. You really should watch out for people on eBay selling fake bullion. Do people set ounce levels to stack towards? I do. I try to stack an ounce a month. That's my personal goal for gold, but I know everyone has a different budget, and everyone has their own goals. But for me personally, that's pretty much been my goal for the past couple of years, to try to get an ounce a month of gold. If I end up getting 10 ounces of gold by the end of the year, I'll be very happy with that, because I know the price is most likely going to go up. So, yeah, it gets harder and harder as the price goes up. Last year I purchased 11.3 ounces of gold, and like I said, the only reason I was able to get that much is because I traded a lot of silver in for gold. So, that was my strategy. That was the reason why I was able to get so much. So if I get anywhere close to 10 ounces this year, and the price of gold is, by the end of the year, who knows where it's going to be, I'm very happy with getting 10 ounces. But that's just my personal goal, to try to get an ounce a month. I try to learn everything I can. When an OG talks metals, I shut up and listen. And I'm not an OG. I mean, I just started stacking. It's going to be 6 years already. So I don't know. Maybe I'm considered an OG by now. But there are definitely a lot of people in the community who have been buying longer than I have, and I'm still relatively young, so I got a ways towards retirement. I don't know when I'm going to retire. I'm probably going to be able to retire earlier because I am stacking at such a relatively young age. I started stacking, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to be. I saw someone say, "Don't worry about the price, just buy. It's going to keep going up." Well, I mean, it could go down, L. That's the thing. You really never know. But yes, over time, if you're going to be stacking for 20, 30 years down the line, it definitely will go up in the long term. In the short term, it's a little less certain that it's going to continue to go up. it might go down this year. You never really know. But overall, in the long run, yes, it will go up. What's going on, Nick? I made my biggest gold purchase last week, a 10 gram Volcambi. 1 ounce per month is amazing. Thank you so much, Nick. That is awesome too, brother. 10 grams is a lot. You should definitely be proud of that. That is awesome because a lot of people can't afford to do that. That's great that you did that, man. That is awesome. Congratulations. I wonder if raw gold can be tested on Archimedes, weigh it, then measure liquid displacement. Well, yeah, you could basically take its density. So density equals mass over volume. So you could basically have a fixed amount of liquid, and you could basically see how much displacement it is in weight when you put the gold, the mass of it. So yeah, you could definitely um, as you could definitely calculate the density of the gold, and I forgot what the density of gold is, but you could look that up, and if it's close to that amount, you could definitely that's one way. But there's other elements that look like gold that are similar in density to gold that you could test it in water, and it might come back, you might get a similar density to gold. So it's not the best way of testing for if it's real or not, but it is one way to maybe weed out some of the fakes. But yeah, a 1 ounce Skippy now is 152 AUD. Damn, that's a lot. Yeah, that's great, Nick. I personally, I mean, I don't hate gold bars, but I tend to mostly stack coins. I prefer them. I think, I mean, just look at this. It's beautiful. I just appreciate the artistry that goes into it. The gold bar is just kind of, no offense, but it's a little bit more bland in my opinion. Not to say I don't have any. I do have a few gold bars in my stack. I have a 5 gram gold bar, vintage Scotiabank JM bar, and a couple other. I have a Perth Mint, a 1 gram Perth Mint gold bar, and I recently got a vintage Inglehard Australia gold nugget, a 1 ounce gold nugget from the 80s. So that was really awesome. So yeah, I I do like different things, but I tend in general not to buy bars. Bars are a really great option. They usually have some of the lowest premiums on gold you could get. And if that's your goal of trying to get weight, especially for gold, I mean that's a great way of doing it by buying gold bars. Nothing wrong with that at all. I like multiple gram bars myself. If you ever got to barter, you can snap a gram off, and that's true too. I mean, you could barter with silver, an ounce, or fractional. It's definitely a great way of exchanging value, fractional gold. What about platinum? Everyone forgets about silver's big brother. I love platinum. I sold an ounce and a half last year, a little bit too early. But I still have multiple ounces of platinum. I really like platinum. Platinum right now, there's not really that many industrial uses for platinum. Catalytic converters are kind of on the decline a little bit. I think the only reason the price of platinum went up is because gold. A lot of people got priced of gold, especially in China. And I spoke to my dealer in Chinatown. He's originally from Hong Kong, so he deals with the Asian market a lot. And he's telling me they set up in China, mainland China, a platinum market now. It basically was never traded before, and now because people were outpriced, they can't afford to buy gold. They started buying platinum, and that's probably why a large reason why the price of platinum went up last year is because of the Asian market right now for platinum. They never really considered it much before last year. because it really doesn't have too many practical applications. Platinum on a daily basis. There's some catalytic converters and some other applications, but in general, there's not really too many practical applications platinum's used for. So yeah, I think it's a great metal. I always say it's good to diversify your precious metals portfolio. You should have all different types of metals, whatever you can afford. It's great if you have some platinum or palladium, iridium, whatever type of precious metal you could afford to buy. I say buy a little bit of everything. Lots of people hijacking customers, going into Swan Bullion trying to buy it before they get to the counter. Crazy shit. And that's not just in Australia, Aka. That's all over the world. Um, well, at least all over the U.S. I've heard stories of certain types of silver are starting to dry up. They can't get certain types of silver in, and it's becoming a bigger issue right now because of FOMO. There's such a huge demand, even silver, going up to over $90 an ounce. The demand for silver is so strong right now that a lot of the silver in the U.S. is starting to dry up. Basically, what I heard is that 75% of the world's silver is refined in China, and now China is not exporting any silver. So the silver that is being now probably not being, sent over to China anymore. A lot of it's going to have to be refined, in the US or Mexico or wherever, whatever country, that's still going to be able to export the silver back to us. So that's creating pressure on silver prices as well. We're not able to physically refine the silver, and that's also creating a shortage in silver right now. So yeah, it's basically causing some types of silver to dry up. You might not see those 10 ounce bars or kilo bars anymore because a lot of the larger players are buying up these bars. A lot of the COMEX, are melting whatever 3/9 fine silver they can get and converting it into 1,000 ounce COMEX bars or LBMA bars. So yeah, there's just a five. There's on paper there's a 5-year shortage of silver. It could even be more than that right now. So I definitely see it getting worse and worse as time progresses this year. There's definitely going to be silver drying up, especially if you live in a small town or small neighborhood. And mate, if you're in Australia, I recommend you go to the post office because I know in Australia and in Canada they sell coins in the post offices. So oftentimes in the post office they don't change the price of the coin. And let's say it came out in 2024, they have a coin from 2 years ago, they might still have it at a price that maybe that's like a year or two old. So you definitely should check out your post office to see if you can get some silver under spot. I'm pretty sure you could. We don't have that luxury here in the US though. Getting any gold at this point puts you way ahead of most people. Um, yeah, I'd say gold is it's a lot more stable than silver is. It's not making such large leaps and bounds. I mean, it did last year. It seems every year, the last few years, it's been going up dramatically, and then it kind of slows down at the end of the year. It kind of has been going up gradually, more gradually. But I think both silver and gold are definitely you puts you ahead of most people in the world. 99% of people in the world if you're stacking silver or gold. They want platinum for the hard connections in their mega data centers. Yeah, I mean, platinum, I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly know the practical application for data center. I don't know what they use it. You're saying hard connections. You mean like the wires? I don't know. I'd love to see banks open bullion windows, accepting dispersing maybe just gold and silver eagles at least. That would be great. There's very few banks in the US that do that. If you go to countries like Mexico or Canada, there are banks that do sell bullion. In Canada, I know of Scotiabank, TD Bank, um, maybe Royal Bank of Canada, and there's another bank. I forgot what bank in Canada, but yes, those banks do actually sell precious metals in the bank, so you can purchase them. You usually have to be a customer. I know in Mexico too, definitely have to be a customer in the bank. But they do sell stuff like this in the bank in Mexico. You can get Libertads in the bank in Mexico, and you could definitely get stuff. I'm sure you could get Libertads or Onzas, even maybe if you're lucky. Depends what they have in stock. But yeah, you could definitely buy precious metals in the bank in Mexico. I know, and in Canada. 5,300 hour gold, 125 hour silver by July. Hey, it's possible. It is completely within the realm of possibility. That would, hey, what's going on, Reckless? Good to see you. Welcome in. That would be cool if my bank did. Well, yeah, that'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. You know, in uh in other countries you could buy coins in bank in not just in banks and in the post office. Like in Australia and in Canada, you could buy coins in the post office. So it's really cool. And a lot of times they're underpriced. They don't keep up with the current prices of precious metals. So you could get some really great deals. I don't know if Blockers is still in the room, but he was telling me that in his live stream, he was saying he went into the post office and got some stuff under, spot price. So even if it's something that you don't necessarily want, you buy it and eventually you could either sell it or trade it if for something that you do want, so it's a good strategy. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why in the US, maybe because they had all these bank robberies in the 20s and 30s, you stopped getting gold. And so, well, in general, you couldn't own more than 100 ounces of precious metals in the US from 1933 up until 1976. So there was no reason in the US for them to even be selling precious metals to begin with. So I think that might have had something to do with the reason why today you can't get any precious metals from the bank, at least. Probably also from the post office. But I think there are. I don't know of any personally in the U.S. that sell precious metals. There probably are very few that do, but I don't. I really don't know of any that do. That would be great if they did. That would actually be one thing that banks could actually probably make pretty good money on doing. I know Costco now is selling gold and silver. You could buy precious metals at Costco, and a lot of times, usually when they get those things in stock, they sell out right away. It's been a really good, you know, they've made a lot of money buying and selling precious metals. Costco. Working on silver for silver swap, silver bars for a custom piece. My offer is really fair. Hey, what's going on, Renee? Good to see you. Welcome in. The thing you got to worry about custom, a lot of times if you get anything custom, you're not going to probably get your money back out of it. But if you want to just, because you like the way it looks, or, go for it. Stack what you like and stack what you don't like. because right now I'm regretting not stacking more silver that I don't necessarily like. I like vintage silver mostly, and more modern silver is stuff that I don't really care for as much. Some modern stuff I like, but a lot of modern stuff I don't like. So I wish I had bought more modern, like generic bars and rounds that I could use now to, swap for gold or, platinum or whatever. Um, I didn't think the price of silver would go up by 300% in a year's time. Nobody really thought, well, most people didn't think that it was going to happen in such a short amount of time. It appeals to me. Yeah, and go for it. Everyone, they should buy what they like, even no matter how much it costs. I've been wanting this for a few years, and I bought it. Luckily, it was only about a 4.5% premium over spot. I say go for it. If buy what you like. Don't always just buy for weight. You should buy some stuff that you like once in a while, at least. And if you're able to get it at a great price, that's even better. I'm stacking every precious metal ever created. I know there's some people who are selling osmium. Um, yeah, there's probably, I don't know how many precious metals there are. There's definitely a platinum series of metals. Um, I know a couple of them. I don't know all of them. But yeah, definitely diversify your stack. Get whatever you can. Stack whatever you can. It's always great to diversify because you never know what's going to go up and down or how much by how much. So, it's good to have a little bit of everything, I say. What do you think of osmium? Um, this is just my opinion, but I would say not to buy crystallized osmium. Osmium in itself, in its natural state, is highly toxic to humans by touching it. So I would not recommend buying osmium because it is a highly toxic metal. In its crystallized form, I don't think there's any practical application for it. I think the market for it is extremely limited. I don't think a lot of people are buying it. I think it's something, it was just created in a laboratory in Germany recently, and there's no market for it. There's no practical application for it. There's probably only a couple thousand people in the world who actually have it. So it's not something I would personally buy at this time. If it became more widely accepted and traded, then yeah, I'd buy it. But at this point in time, it's so limited the market for it. I would never buy osmium at this time. That's just my personal opinion of osmium. I know some people are gung ho on osmium and the price increase, but if you're buying osmium, and there's such a limited market for it, who are you going to sell it to when it comes time to sell if you want to sell it, right? It might be going up by the most percentage wise of any precious metal, but who are you going to really sell it to if no one there's not a market for it, right? So, you got to think about that when you buy it. Who are you going to sell it to eventually? Or, not that many people know about it right now. So it's not something I see that's practical to buy in currently. I can't see myself buying any osmium. Yeah. Yeah, Space Miner, Long Live Coins, they're and a couple other people are very big into osmium. And that's good. That's great for them. I have nothing against, look, I have nothing against, if you want to buy osmium, go for it. Just me personally, that's just my personal opinion. I personally would never buy osmium because I don't see any practical application for it. I don't see any market for it. And I don't know. I just don't see a market for it. That's my main reason why I would never buy osmium, because you're dealing with a very limited number of people globally who buy it and who even know about it. So you're dealing with a very niche market for osmium. It's not something I'd buy. It's not something like gold or silver that is recognized globally, where pretty much everyone in the world knows about it. So I've been investing heavily in vibranium. Yeah, I never heard of vibranium either. I like to see color of palladium, but I can't see stacking too much of it. They're all pretty much a silvery gray color. Yeah, exactly. You can't, that's just my opinion. You guys can do whatever you want, but for me, I'd never buy something that is not easily sellable. That's just me. Would you like to see banks adopt if you're investing into gold and have a high yield savings account that you can spend? Not sure what you mean by that, Joseph. All I know about osmiums was Space Monitor. Yeah, I read that already. So that's is that a real metal, or is that just from the movie Black Panther? Yeah, I bought an ounce of what did I buy? Palladium, but I sold it. I probably should have held on to it, but I don't know. I don't really see any practical usage for it right now, so would have been nice to hold on to it, but I could always buy it. I would really like to get a platinum eagle. I mean a palladium eagle. That'd be awesome to have one of those. That's one coin I'd like to get. Black Panther, yeah. Well, Stanley passed away a few years ago, so yeah, you can't ask him, Joseph. Sorry. But yeah, what time is it? So it's almost 3:30. I think I'm gonna call it a night. I've been streaming just over 2 hours right now, so I really appreciate everyone stopping by tonight. It's good to see some new faces in here. If everyone can, if you haven't done so already, if you could please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like to. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone coming in tonight. And like I always say, guys, stack that gold. I hope everyone has a good night. Take care, stay safe, and I hope everyone is able to achieve their stacking goals this year. Let's make it a great year, guys, even with these high prices. Take care. Have a good night.